Oh yeah, baby. Escape the pressure from the Travoltas. All right. Did you miss me? Did you ever had a chance to kiss me? Hey, it's your boy Rocco here. King size muscle. Not feeling so muscle here, but definitely feeling king size. Coming in at 304 pounds, already down 8 pounds from a few days ago. So, welcome to Bangkok. Definitely. We're here at the Chateau, next door to, of course, the Muscle Factory, which will be the first stop. This weekend is going to be a big weekend for a lot of folks here that are coming into town. We've got an IFBB Pro show here in Bangkok, just right up the street there at the Avani. And about a week later out is the PCA for Thailand as well, another organization. So a lot of bodybuilders will be doing both of those shows because, hey, you're already cut, lean, and dried, so you might as well go for it, right? So it'll be exciting to see a lot of folks that we've known for quite a while and maybe meet some new folks as well. That'll be pretty awesome, I think. It was a long flight, by the way. Started out in Portland it seems like 2 days ago. It's about 36 hours. Got into Los Angeles. Tom Bradley International. My check-in gate with Korea Air was already closed. They already went home, so I couldn't get into the actual terminal. So I was kind of left out on curbside there, like where you check in, and it was pretty disappointing. Got to be honest with you. If I was the city of Los Angeles, and that's what they've got going on, yeah, I can see why people get upset sometimes about the way things happen in the city or in the state and so forth. And again, it's a massive project. I understand that, but it was very dirty in the Terminal B check-in area. Just trash everywhere. It's obvious that there is some transients and houseless and some 5150 people that are there on the property, even though there's constant announcements that, you got to be a passenger to be in LAX. So for sure there's people living at the terminal. It became more evident early in the morning as I got in a bit after midnight, and then I had about a 10-hour layover, which is all right. I had some online stuff to do, and that was the biggest hassle for me, was trying to find Wi-Fi and power, like I said, on this side of the passenger experience where you check in, basically curbside, and so nothing was open. Most of the plugs didn't work and so forth, and there were teams of construction people like blocking off exits and so on. So it wasn't great. I finally went next door to Terminal 4, which is American Airlines, which was a little bit more mellower that time of night, and got to see Questlove. Yeah, that was awesome. He was coming out of the private room, and gave him a, hey, love you, baby, and he was down with that. That was cool. So, it's not often you get to see a celebrity from someone that you enjoy over the years, of course, the Roots, and some of the stuff that he did, definitely on the Dave Chappelle show was hilarious with Jonathan Myers. Wait. Oh, I forgot his name. He's going to kill me. Okay, we'll come back to that maybe if I remember. Anyway, they had a skit of the difference between sort of like, black people and white people and the music that they liked. And so they got like the whitest guy they could find to play some guitar and freak people out. And then, of course, when he played in front of white people, they loved it. And then same thing when Questlove was jamming on the drums or whatever else, black people were down for it. And then, of course, white people were like, obviously very exaggerated. It's classic Dave Chappelle. And it brings me to my other sort of thought that's been rolling around in my cavernous mind here, is that I got to watch the Chris Rock special, which was pretty amazing. And his whole bit about selective outrage really hit home, I think. Tagging basically Will Smith about his selective outrage and taking it out on him, considering all this stuff that had gone on. And part of the reason to coming to Thailand, of course, is there's been some recent selective outrage in the United States about coconut water from Thailand, because it is harvested by monkeys, which is something that's actually pretty amazing. And I've seen it done on the island of Koh Phangan. It's a pretty trippy thing to experience, coming across the jungle and hearing a thud and then a whistle and then a thud and a whistle, and then you come up and you find 68-pound ancient Thai man with a bamboo stick and a whistle, and a macaque monkey that goes up the coconut tree, and he knows how to twist the coconut and drop it on the ground. And he comes down and gets his treat and goes back up. Well, of course, the people that like to cancel things, and that's on both sides and all sides, actually. It seems like the more that we go down this road here of neo-tribalism, the more sort of like sensitive people are becoming for whatever bullshit reasons. And I'm, you know me well enough by now that I'm pretty open about everything in this case, and so I'm not going to get on this whole thing about cancel culture and woke or whatever else. I think it's all horse shit. Both sides, really, I do, in the sense that it's just a non-point. To be outraged and try to protest coconut milk or coconut water because, maybe a monkey perhaps got one of the coconuts out of like the millions of coconuts that are harvested every year in this country. What about all the other farm animals around the world? I mean, should we cancel everything that the Amish are doing because they use horses, or everything the cowboys do when they're rounding up, livestock with horses? Working with animals is part of the human condition on this planet, regardless of whatever lateral reality that I may be in. That's something that I accept as a fact, that humans and animals have worked together. Are they exploited? We're all exploited, trust me. Unless you're in the 1% or an ultra billionaire or whatever else, you got to answer to somebody. You're part of the exploitation. You have to answer to somebody, just like the song says. Everybody's got to answer to somebody. And even those guys way up the top in the stratosphere, despite the fact of them trying to take their dick rockets out into space or go to other planets or whatever else like that, they still have to answer to somebody. And maybe that somebody is more of a something, perhaps, like nature or the laws of the universe or something like that. But, they're not getting out of here alive. None of us are. So, again, to be upset about coconuts and monkeys that harvest coconuts, I mean, perhaps the argument is that maybe they're ill-treated or whatever else, but in my experience, for the people that handle monkeys here, especially macaques, which is probably my least favorite primate because they're vicious little bastards, whether they're working or not, they just got those large canines and they're extremely naughty. If you don't believe me, take the 3-island tour from Krabi and go out to Chicken Island and come around the corner where they have all the monkeys. And what you'll notice is that as they come out of the jungle, you'll see all the boatmen start grabbing sticks or whatever else because they will fuck tourists up. And there's nothing worse than some farang tourist that's, clueless, that tries to pet a monkey or get a selfie with a monkey and gets bit. Hello, you're going to get a rabies shot and your vacation's going to be ruined. Okay, so I just can't get on board with this whole thing of like trying to shut down or cancel an entire industry over some sort of selective outrage. Now, granted, is this on the spectrum or on the scale of what's happening to the orangs or the orangutans in other countries where they are sort of being forced out of their environments and hunted down or whatever else because people are cutting down their natural rainforests to put in palm oil? And the reason why they want palm oil is because we put it in everything. It's like the other version of corn syrup. Think about all the candies, whatever else. I mean, grab any wrapper of any sort of crap junk food, whatever else, and you'll notice it has palm oil in it, which is great for here because it's another resource for their economy and so forth in this part of the world. But on the other hand, the only reason why they're using it is because it's uber cheap. So I don't think that's really the issue here because these macaques typically are bred and raised to do this job the same way that people breed and raise horses to do the job or any other type of livestock. And so, again, I just don't understand where people are coming from with this. If anything, to me, it's some type of shakedown or some sort of, sort of ill-thought, selective outrage. But it seems to be for some other reason than the actual real reason itself. And I didn't really put it together until I was in grocery outlet, or we call it the food museum, according to Dickie O. Grocery outlet is sort of like a chain of kind of like bulk or secondary items, or maybe short market run items. You could buy like Mike Tyson's energy drink there for a short time for like 2 for $1 or something like that, and then it was gone. And so it didn't take off. But I went in and I noticed that I go to different ones sometimes because they have different things. And there was all these sales on coconut water, right? And now I understand why, because people were pulling them off the shelves at major supermarkets or whatever else because of this bullshit idea of oh my God, you're using monkeys to get coconuts. Oh. And I'm sure there's somebody that's got a web page or a podcast or videos or whatever else that make it sound like it's absolutely horrifying. So while I'm here, I'm going to try to look into that and try to show people that it's not that big of a deal. And instead of trying to punish Thailand and the Thai farmers and the people that depend sort of on that economy of harvesting coconuts, especially in the South, where I spend most of my time, that's one of their sort of resources for commodities to sell and so on. And the margins are very tight on all of these things anyway. And so all of a sudden now that their sales are going to fall down because of, again, somebody's afraid of the monkeys touching the coconuts. I mean, it's so... I'm so bored with the USA. I can really feel it, man. And getting out of there for this trip, it was long. It was 36 hours. It was pretty good once I got on Korea Air from Los Angeles to Seoul. I have to say that they're probably my new favorite international airline. The seats were roomy, the service was impeccable, the food was amazing. They just made you feel like a king, even in economy. And so I would say that I would definitely fly them again over this last experience. And I also got to take them from Seoul into Bangkok, and I was not disappointed by any of that aspect of it. I've been on some airlines that no, but this was actually a really good experience. And so the idea of that, coming here, and even though being shagged and tired and dirty and filthy, of course I've taken a shower now, wash the USA or the stank off me. I could tell, you get in the cab and the guy's kind of like, but that's what happens, you just, what can you do, right? So that concept of this, strange sort of thinking that's going on back home is already sort of eroding. I mean, as soon as I got into the airport, I sent out a few messages, and I thought, I already feel better. I really do. I just already feel better. And part of that, of course, is making the choice to come here. There's a lot of things that are in play, as always, in my life, and I have to sometimes make critical choices to figure out what I'm going to do, especially if I'm trying to jump a timeline in a lateral fashion, as I like to joke, whether it's real or not. That's your decision in this case. And so now I've totally altered my timeline because here I am. And I brought all my toys, and hopefully we'll get to do some things that'll be entertaining for myself and entertaining for the few friends that enjoy what I do. And so, of course, I'm open to any kind of suggestions or comments or criticisms. Be kind. And if you got something you want to know about or curious about coming to Thailand, please let me know. I had the taxi driver stop off on the way here. His GPS, of course, was very unlucky, as it is with me when I use it, and we ended up taking some sort of weird back way off the toll road to get over here to the Chateau, which is next door to the mussel factory. And even he was like, where are we going? And there was some construction, so I had to sort of guide him. So that feels good, that when you go to another country or another foreign city, then you've been there enough that you know how to navigate. I was tempted to rent a car for a moment, but I thought, not yet. So I took the cab. You go out and get a number from the kiosk, and they use the meter and everything else, and it was 600 baht. And plus I gave him a little tip. I even bought him water because I had him stop at the 7-Eleven so I could get my water. And I got some cannabis water, fruit punch Hawaiian, and it was way too sweet for me. So I've got the bottle here, and I need to pull the text off the label here so I can translate it a little bit. I'm just curious. I've got a feeling it's just full of cane sugar or sugar juice in this way. I didn't notice it last time I had it, last summer, but this one was pretty strong. So I ended up just pouring it into my big 2-liter thing of water to kind of dilute it down. I don't want that much sugar all at once, especially if I'm here trying to get back into shape and train and lose weight and get back down to where I was. When I left here, I was at 280 pounds, and that was, just a little bit into September, October, I think. So October, November, December, January, February, and a little bit of piece of March. So almost 6 months, I ended up putting back on nearly 40 pounds. So what does that tell you about my life in America? And I didn't really change that much per se. I know I was getting a lot of sort of job stress and kind of eating inappropriately, and the wrong things, of course, and lack of exercise, the usual. But being here, not even going to the gym, just Bangkok life, walking around, like just going from here to like the BTS SkyTrain and back and forth. So you'll see some large numbers on my Fitbit for steps. The first time I did 10 miles was here in Bangkok in a day. And it was amazing to me to see that happen. And I've done it a few more times since then. So if I can get up to 12 or 13, then I'm like half marathon point, right? Now, granted, and I'm not running the whole time or whatever else, but there is a possibility. I mean, take a look at old smelly Mark Bell. I mean, he's like trying to catch up to Dave Goggins at this point. I mean, this guy's gone from elite power lifter, super chunky, super thick, and then down to the aesthetics of a bodybuilder, and now he's turning into marathon endurance man. He's going to run his first marathon. And so again, it's always what's going on up here that helps everything else happen down below. But they all kind of got to work together. And for me, it doesn't work together when I'm back home for a variety of reasons. Probably because my heart is here. And if your heart is at a different place, then it's really hard to sort of line things up. And so you got to follow your heart, whatever that is to you. Is that your instinct or your subconscious or your feeling or whatever else? You define it for yourself. It's the same way when people say things about me when I was a kid for fighting and boxing, is that I had a lot of heart because I just wouldn't give up. And even now, I'm still not giving up. I'm 55 years old and still trying not to give up, still trying to knock another one out of the park. And people can be critical about that as well, but I just don't really give a damn because I'm on my own timeline, because I get to jump around and do whatever it is that I want in this case. So I'm lucky, very fortunate, and I couldn't do it without, of course, the love and support of many people, including yourself, if you're taking the time to hang out here and listen to me or watch me in this case. I do appreciate that more than you really know. I'm excited to be here and to follow up and see a lot of people that I enjoy and so on, and it'll be a good time to be here to train and sort of recenter myself and work on some other projects. Of course, the big project is the legalization of cannabis in this country. And of course, the market on this is just going through the roof. I mean, it was already up like something 50% more than the first year. I mean, to the point where they were actually importing cannabis to support the demand because it's so high. In the short time that I've been gone in 6 months, I can imagine there's probably 10 times more dispensaries. So it'll be also interesting to see what has developed at that point. But there's still a lack of, I would say, some of the expertise. It's still a work, not so much in progress, but a work in success, just like myself, in the sense that they're trying to, improve the QC and some of the things that they have going on. For years, of course, they had cannabis, but it was black market and illegal, and a lot of people were in prison over it and so on. And then all of a sudden, they decided to cut everybody loose, just like we did in the States, or those states that decided to legalize. And it's created a whole nother source of revenue and industry and opportunity for a lot of people, and that's exciting. That something so simple from nature, like this beautiful plant, can make a difference in so many people's lives. And so to keep it prohibited, I think, is just foolish. And I always said this when I was a kid, but of course when I first started experimenting with cannabis, I was about 13 years old. I never was really heavy into it. I went through phases like some people do. But I would always say, one day it will be legal. And people are like, I'm like, it will. I got that, of course, from, Tommy Chong, right? That's what he kept saying. Someday, man, it's going to be legal and I'll have a job, And so, it's going to be exciting to follow up on that, to see now that the harvests are coming back in and what's developed in the last 6 months or so. And again, bringing in some technical expertise, and again, trying to source out other people that are interested in investment, looking at doing some CDOM work as far as some contract sourcing for those companies that want to get into not only cultivation, but obviously extraction is coming down the pike here, and they'll also be moving into psilocybin here pretty soon as well. And so not only do I get to catch up on the research for the cannabis THC thing, now I got to get back into mycology as well. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens the next few weeks, whatever golden opportunities are out there. I'm going to touch base, of course, with Tony Huge, an enhanced athlete. Looking forward to seeing an old friend of mine, Jonathan Graham, who has Impact, which is it's a whole different aspect of fitness and interactivity, and I'll try to express that in a better way in the future. It's it's about 4:30 in the morning, and of course I haven't slept yet, so excuse the loopiness, but I wanted to get this down to see how well it looked and how well it sounded, because I'm trying out some new equipment. So bear with me if you don't mind. Again, the learning curve is always slightly skewed when it comes to me and my autistic ways, or neurodivergent ways in this case. In fact, somebody called me autistic the other day, which was kind of surprising. I thought, well, geez, is it that obvious? But apparently, I think because more people are talking about the spectrum and the scale, and now it's getting tossed around a lot more. So, okay, I don't mind. I'm neurodivergent. It's the way it is when you're a Janani demonic. What can you say? So, the other opportunities that are also present here, of course, aside from the cannabis industry, the fitness industry, is my main line, which of course is education. Now that the things have opened up for China as well, the demand for Dr. Isles is starting to come up again, and I hope to capitalize on that as much as possible while I'm here, and try to create some other sources of revenue so that I could be here more often. Like I said, you got to go where your heart is. If I can get it where I'm like in the Pacific Northwest, like in the heat of the summer when it's awesome there, where the sun doesn't go down about 9 p.m. or whatever else, and then about the time it starts to get snotty and rainy, whatever else, I should be here. Yeah? So call me a snowbird if you want to. That doesn't matter to me. I mean, like I said, you just do what you want to do to make yourself happy. That is always important. I've got way too much stuff that I brought with me, but because I intend to leave a lot of it to my place there in Copenhagen, and so I won't worry about too much here. We will have another night boat adventure. We'll have a train adventure. We'll have a Pattaya adventure. We'll have a Copenhagen adventure. And also depends on what people sort of give me for feedback, something that they're curious or interested about. We're going to take a look at it. That's what I want to do, is I want to be your boy Rocco, because that's who I am, and I want to share my life with you. And if you say, hey, I'm kind of interested in that, I want to know about that, and I'm the guy on the ground, I'll find out for you. So we'll also have a trip probably over to MBK pretty soon to pick up a couple of other things. We've got to get our phone situation for SIM card, or probably SIM hotspot, I think, is what I'm going to do this time. I definitely took the SIM out of my AT&T phone. By the way, AT&T, you suck balls. You always have. I never enjoyed it. And, of course, I know for a fact that as my phone is almost paid off, it starts to run like crap because you guys want me to buy a new phone. So if I could prove it, I'd sue your ass to figure it out. So the first thing I did was I pulled the SIM card out, because last time international roaming screwed me for a couple $100, and I didn't like that so much because I didn't have a lot of control over it. I mean, I'd switch it off, but sometimes it would switch itself on for whatever reason, some setting that probably I overlooked. But the point of it is that I'm not happy with their service. I'm not happy with a lot of service. I wasn't even able to finish up with CenturyLink, who's another one that's on my shit list. It's all in the fucking rear view right now. It has no bearing or matter except, ha ha ha, here I am. It's victory. It feels good. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to go next door. I'm going to work out. I'm going to do some things this morning after that and enjoy my day and see how this is and maybe try a little bit more or make some adjustments so that it will be good for everybody involved. And so there you go. I let it all out in one long stream. Didn't plan to, so totally improvised. So again, bear with me if that is something that bothers you. If not, then just chalk it up as hanging out with rocks. So that's what it is. All right, I'm going to let you off the hook so I can move on to what I'm doing and see how well this came out, and we'll go from there. Love you.